and we're back for the story of the day for Year 3 to Year 6, looking at Grandpa's Great Escape by David Walliams. And when we left it on Friday, Grandpa was in school with Jack and he'd been recalling different facts, and suddenly Miss Verity asked him a question and he doesn't remember the answer. Chapter 10, Facts, Facts, Facts. From the back of the classroom, Jack dived in to defend his grandfather. Miss, it's best you don't keep interrupting by asking questions. But this is a history lesson. We need facts, 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 replied Miss Verity. Just please let Wing Commander finish his story, miss. We can get all of those later. Very well, muttered the history teacher, grasping her red chalk in readiness. Please carry on, Mr. Bunting. Thank you, madam, said Grandpa. Now, where was I? It was clear the poor old man had lost his thread. It was a good job that his grandson knew the story so well. He had heard this particular tale of the daring duo hundreds of times, but and he was never tired of it. Jack prompted his grandfather. You saw the first Messerschmitt and gave the order to dive. That's right, madam. As soon as my squadron of Spitfires descended through the clouds, we realised that this would be the fight of our lives. Grandpa's eyes lit up. He was back in the moment as if it was yesterday. The radar had estimated 100 planes in total. This looked more like 200. 100 Junkers and as many Messerschmitts. As for us, we had just 27 Spitfires. The children were enraptured. Miss Verity was busy scribbling up her precious facts, facts, facts on the blackboard, like how many aircraft were on each side, in an array of multicoloured chalks. As soon as she had finished, she switched back for the red chalk, for dates only, and opened her mouth as if she were about to speak. But before she could say a word, the entire class went, shh! Grandpa was on a roll now. All the children were eating out of his hand. I pressed on my machine guns and the battle commenced. It was thrilling and terrifying in equal measure. The sky was filled with bullets, smoke and fire. Bang! I hit my first Messerschmitt. The Luftwaffe pilot parachuted out. Bang! And another. Our mission that day was to take down the Junkers. They were the deadly ones. Each one of those bombers was carrying tons of explosives, and if we didn't stop them, their bombs would be raining down on the men and women and children of London. Up in skies, the battle raged for what seemed like hours. The RAF must have shot down 50 enemy aircraft that day, continued Grandpa. Many of the other Luftwaffe planes were so badly damaged they had to retreat back across the channel quick smart. My squadron returned to base that day as heroes. All the children in the class burst into a wild applause. Hooray! Chapter 11, A Legend. As the applause died down in the classroom, Grandpa began again, but this time there was no time for celebration. We knew the enemy would be back, and soon, even in greater numbers than before. The Battle of Britain had well and truly begun. As for my squadron, I lost 4 brave pilots that day. The old man's eyes glistened with tears. The entire class sat there in stunned silence. So this was what a history lesson could be. The boy sitting next to Jack turned to him and whispered, Your grandpa's a legend. I know, replied Jack, and smiled. Well, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Bunting, said Miss Verity loudly, breaking the spell. We're nearing the end of the lesson now. I have my red chalk poised and ready. We need to note down all those facts, facts, facts. So please, could you tell me the year this happened? The year, replied Grandpa. Yes. I need to put it up on the board. If my pupils are to have any hope of passing their exams next term, we need to know facts, 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 and yet more facts. The old man looked at his teacher. It's this year. What do you mean, this year? Asked the teacher. This year, madam, 1940. The class chuckled uncertainly. Surely the old man was joking. Jack shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Miss Verity gave everyone another one of her famous death stares, and they were silent once more. You seriously think this is 1940? Yes, of course it's 1940. King George the Sixth is on the throne, and Mr. Churchill is Prime Minister. No, Mr. Bunting. This is 1983. It can't be. Yes. Queen Elizabeth is on the throne and the wonderful Mrs. Thatcher is Prime Minister. Grandpa did not look at all convinced. In fact, he stared at the teacher as if she was bonkers. Mrs., a lady Prime Minister? You must have a screw loose, madam. I think it's you that has a screw loose, Mr. Bunting. Well, thank you so much for your so informative visit, the teacher said, rather sarcastically. Now goodbye. As if shooting a pigeon, Miss Verity ushered the old man out of the chair. Under her breath, she muttered to the class, "No need to write down a thing the old man said after all. He doesn't know what year it is, and he's still wearing his slippers." Poor Grandpa stood in front of the class. He had been soaring in the sky. Now he looked like he crash-landed to the ground. Jack's heart ached for him. Dring! The bell rang, and not a moment too soon, the boy had never been so relieved that a lesson had ended. Jack pushed past the other children to get to his grandfather as they shambled out of the classroom. It had gone from being the best history class ever to the absolute worst. Just as Jack reached Grandpa, Miss Verity called the boy back. "Jack, may I have a word, please?" "A moment, sir," the boy said to his grandfather as he plodded over to his teacher. "Promise me you will never bring your grandfather into my classroom again," she hissed. "I promised," replied Jack angrily. "There's no way I'm bringing him back here." The boy spun around and reached out for Grandpa's hand. His old skin felt almost like a child's, soft and silky. "Come on, Wing Commander, let's return to base." I don't understand," muttered the old man. "Was the briefing not clear? Did I let you down?" Seeing his grandfather like this, it was hard not to cry. But Jack was determined to be strong. "No, Wing Commander, you didn't. You never have, and you never will." And we will pick up chapter 12 tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it.